Hello, everyone. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I'm just testing out my microphone. It's really not up to snuff. It seems to be dropping off on the end of my words, as if when the volume goes low, this thing just completely drops out. Um, However, it could be the auto gate that I'm putting on to mask the background noise. It could be that, clipping it, a little too short. In any case, yeah, I need a better microphone. I'm struggling to do a job and I don't really have the tools to do that job. So I'm trying to create decent audio. I'm trying to create, decent video. And when you don't have the tools to do the job, it's really difficult. So much so, it's like opening up your phone and dialing a number and then having to wait 30 seconds for it to kick in. And if you're trying to do this in a creative capacity, it's pointless. It's like you're looking at a video edit, you're saying, okay, cut here, clip there, move this over there. And it's like, yeah, come back in a few minutes. So there's no flow to what's happening. And it's very limiting in what you can and can't do. So the process, which is not an easy process, although you get better at it, when you don't have the right tools and the tools aren't responding, it's, very frustrating. I remember talking to somebody who was trying to create content, and they didn't understand how powerful of a computer was needed, and they were acting like the machine that I was looking for to get this job done was like some sort of like 4K CGI special effects, full length anime creation workstation. And it's like, bro, you have no idea what's really going on here. You don't get to take even 1080p, all right, and adjust your audio and make your video edits and get to look at that in even half resolution in real time without a halfway decent system, working behind it, right? So I was gearing up towards some big production for this company making videos. And he was like, oh, I'm just going to buy this equipment. And his equipment was like a lot more expensive, but a lot less powerful. And the boss couldn't decide like which one of us should run the project. So he was like, oh, okay, each of you take a couple weeks and just give me a video and I'll see what you've got. So this guy goes out, right, with his phone, right, and starts capturing video. And he's capturing it, in the 9:16 format. And he's not even understanding the whole idea of resolution. He's like, this is full resolution because it's occupying my full screen. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to occupy the full screen of anything larger, like a computer monitor. And if we try to take your resolution and stretch it out onto an actual full-size monitor, it's going to look like garbage, So he really was just stupid arrogant. And he didn't have any experience either. Now, he was a smart young man, no doubt about that. He'd been in the military and things like that, but he didn't have experience in this particular field. And the idea that somebody else who he would probably consider less intelligent than himself had ideas that didn't go along, that didn't mesh with his, he just found this completely unacceptable, right? So he's out there filming, for most of the time. And then he brings in all of his video, to compile it and to rearrange it and stuff like that. And of course, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like he's making his cuts, he's making his edits, he's moving this there, he's moving that there. And he's then wanting to see his work. And it's like, yeah, come back in 15 minutes. So the time went on and he couldn't produce a video. He couldn't produce anything. He could produce some clips that he had spliced together that were suitable for looking at on a phone. That's what, and there was nothing else to it, right? So it was incredibly simple for me to come in with, a professional script and then just to lay out the images, in sequence and, to do the transitions properly and simply present the video, with the script, with the full dialogue. So that took care of that. And I was working at this place. This was like a drug treatment, situation. And I was doing multiple jobs. I was running a food bank. I was running the operations aspect of it. I was bringing in the food. I was putting it all away, setting it all up to be then handed out, and then monitoring the handing out of the food. Although I wasn't, actually interacting with the people, I was just getting it all set up and getting it out there. It was a fun job, actually. And I was also taking over the social media aspect of the company. And the housing that they were giving me was just completely substandard. It was completely unusable. So I was coming home from the food bank, and I'm bringing home ribeyes. I'm bringing home T-bones. I'm bringing home lobster. And it's like we've got a ton of it. And it's extra. And the other people in the house, they eat stuff like macaroni and cheese, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and beans. And they're all really sick. So, of course, and I'm coming home after they eat dinner anyway. And I'm cooking up the good food, right? There's only enough for me, maybe one other person. But they all get so butthurt about it that now I'm reduced down to their diet of macaroni and cheese and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But by the time I get home at the end of the night, dinner's already done. So there's really absolutely nothing there for me. And even though I've got a ton of free food of the highest quality, I can't use it because I've got a bunch of butthurt boys in the room, in the house who aren't willing to work, who aren't willing to do the hard work, and they're all upset, right? So, and, dinner is over. So not so great. But then I'm going into my room, and I've got this small little room that they've given me. I don't know, probably like 60, 70 square feet, right? Kind of like a big closet, a little bigger than a big closet, but that's about it, with a bunk bed in it. And they moved this old, very sick man into the room with me. And I'm cool, I don't care. I just need to be able to get in there for about 7 or 8 hours a night and get some sleep. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm out working anyway, but the man, he's sick and he wakes up throughout the whole night and stands up and hops around in the room, bumps into the walls and shit. And there's a limit to the amount of help that I could give him. And after a few nights of not being able to get any sleep and not being able to get any food, although I was set up to do some serious, video editing, I had to walk away. I just had to say, forget it. And it was like, good luck finding somebody to do what I can do for you. They're not going to find anybody to reasonably run their food bank operation. And if they do, it's going to take a long time for that person to get up to speed. And they're most certainly not going to find anybody to do, their social media, video, fundraising, business promotion, SEO operation. Even their smartest people, were like idiot fools, arrogant fools who they just couldn't deal with the idea that anybody else knew more than they did in anything. So if you're a craftsman, if you're a plumber or an electrician, and you come into the place and you're like, yeah, this is the problem, and this is what it's going to cost, and this is how long it's going to take me, right? So you've got some, 25-year-old kid who doesn't know anything about plumbing, who's actually arguing with you, not trying to learn from you, but actually upset over the idea that anybody might have some specialized knowledge that they don't have. That's how weak of an ego the people are that we're dealing with in this day and age. And you're asking yourself, well, why is that, Howard? And the answer is, of course, social media, and it is identity politics and gender politics, this sense of entitlement without any of the competency and the merit to go with it. So anyway, moving on. You know what I want? I want all of the woke teachers to be fired, okay? Anybody who wants to come in front of the children should be normalized. I don't want anybody with purple hair, facial tattoos, facial piercings, or anybody, who doesn't have their gender identity in line and isn't there to simply teach the children how to read, write, science. And here's another thing that I would like. Let's bring back recess for the boys. Most of the schools, they don't have recess anymore. They just sit around like girls, right? And of course, you can't upset or offend anybody. And DOGE is going after the Department of Education. And it's going to be so dirty. It's going to be so corrupt. It's going to be so shocking. They're not trying to teach the children. They're essentially a grooming gang. That's what they are. And if you're wondering where they want to take it, simply look at Great Britain. Simply look at England and what they're going through right now. And this is a demonic influence of the parents actually offering their children up to the demon of transactivism so that the parent can present themselves as this woke, moral, ethical defender of society when they are the exact opposite. I'll tell you something else. The excessive carbs, they're making you crazy. They're filling you with anger, with rage, with depression. They're causing addiction, causing high blood pressure, and they're really delicious. And they give, quick, good energy. So you're going to have to discipline yourself. I'm talking about returning to traditional values. No, I'm not talking about a man getting married and putting himself into that kind of a dangerous situation. But other than that, yes, return to your traditional values while you still have time, because your medical industry will not be able to fix your problems if you go too far with them. And it's not merely physical, it's psychological, it's cultural. This interaction is a form of codependency and addiction. Rarely are people talking and discussing issues. What they're doing is they're probing socially to find out who's on their side and who is not. This is madness. And to them, it's normalized because of the carb-based diet. And you can see it in their physiology. They're out of shape, they're skinny fat, they're skinny, but they have absolutely no muscle tone, or it's a man and he just can't get rid of the excess weight because of all the insulin. And they adopt this weak, frightened, feminized attitude. Look, you're either living to your best hopes and dreams or to your worst nightmares and fears. Women and weak men go to the fear and the nightmare and the paranoia. Never trust a weak man. Never trust a stupid man. I'm sorry, you guys. How can you not see? How can you not look out at the culture around you and see that those who adopt a particular worldview become sick? Not just physically sick and ill, but mentally damaged, unable to emotionally interact with the world, existing in a sense of entitlement. As I was mentioning the young man earlier, very smart, very intelligent, and yet the idea that anybody could know anything that he wasn't an expert in, it destroyed his sense of entitlement. And it was disgusting to listen to him, to hear him walk around and talk about his subjective interpretation of the world and how words are meaningless and acting like he's intelligent and smart because he's just repeating what he's heard. He doesn't understand it. He has no understanding. These are just some of the things that I deal with. But I really think it's inappropriate with the teachers. But of course, they've already infiltrated. They are the teachers. They are the administrators. They are the principals. The money is being shuffled to them through the backdoor channels that the Democrats have been setting up for 50 years. And it's been killing our country and destroying our children. And as I said, if you want to know where it's going, look at Great Britain. That's where it's going. Now, I'll tell you something else. This is very daring of me. I really am willing to lay out some stuff for you that is years in advance. And it's not because I'm so smart or I have access to so much information. Simply, I was trained as a systems analyst. Okay. You give me a percentage of the picture and I can put that picture together. I don't know if I should tell you certain things, and you won't believe it anyway, not yet. And that gives me a kind of little bit of cover that I'm looking for. Oh, that's just silly. And then 5 years pass and it's oh my gosh, that was correct. So what you're looking at is tribal societies and how they handle justice and the law coming in to Western societies. This is why you've got your rape gangs hanging out over in Great Britain and, they're coming here to America. They're already here. We just don't know about them yet. And the reason why, as I said, is the difference between Western criminal justice and tribal criminal justice. So when someone from their community gets arrested, the leaders of their community come to the police station, come to the legal system and say, listen, if you charge our people, if you don't let them go, we're going to put on a riot, a demonstration. We're going to burn down half your city. It's going to cost you tens of millions of dollars. And the Western justice system looks at that and says, okay, one person who's committed a heinous crime that should be punished or $10 million in civil damage. And they're like, let him go. Let him go. And they do. And this happens time and time and time again. I've spent a lot of time in courtrooms, not merely, on my own behalf. And you can see the treatment that the various people are getting. And they're letting certain people go. And in this case, over here in America, it's not even that they're being approached by their community leaders. It's simply that they don't want to appear racist. So God help you if you're a white man and you wind up before the criminal justice system. Because there is nothing, there is no compassion, there is no extenuating circumstances, and it has nothing to do with guilt or innocence. These people do not care about that at all. I'm sure the ones that might be listening to this are laughing right now. It's about the argument. It's about the case. If they can make the case and they can win the case and you're innocent, that's a win for them. If they can't make the case and you're guilty, they'll just drop the case, because that would be a loss for them. And none of this surprises you. There's nothing I'm saying here that you're listening to it. You're like, oh, no. That's impossible. It could never be that way. No, you're hearing it and you could say, kind of felt it was always kind of like that. But I just kind of thought that we had the honor and the integrity to rise above that. And maybe in the past we did, but we don't anymore. Now, hopefully Trump is a change of direction, the ship of state in a different direction. It's a big deal. And it's not just the individual things that he's doing, although, the executive orders, and it's all good. It's the strategic direction that we're talking about here, with an idea towards the value of merit and competency, returning to a society that values merit and competency over entitlement and imaginary classes and protected status and victim status. So the men who are in these positions, they're not men. They're male, but they're very weak. They don't have the character. They don't have the principles. What they have is a desire to not lose their jobs, to remain in influence. And it has compromised their ability to do what's right. In other words, they will do what is convenient over what is right. And I'm the exact opposite. I will always try to do what's right, no matter how inconvenient. I believe this is why I struggle here in social media, because I'm not here to entertain. I'm not here to bullshit. The idea of men engaging in psychodrama is you're fired. I have no use for you in the company. It was supposed to be the job. Like, I hired you as a defensive coordinator. I could care less about who you like and who you don't like. And nobody needs your approval. You are not the gatekeeper. You are not the police. Certainly not of me. And I have a little experience in this area. What you're looking at is weak men, scared men, boyish men, walking around in social media, in the public sphere, and acting as if they have the entitlement of a female. And if you don't go along with it, what they will do is they will cause interpersonal conflicts for you. They will use relational aggression. They will simply go to the people who look to you and honor you, and they will slander you and tell dirty lies about you. And that's what passes for the manosphere to a large degree, not completely. And it's not even like, wow, that's a really terrible thing that young guy is doing. He doesn't even know any better. He doesn't know how to come onto a job and to do a man's job. He doesn't know how to do what's right and why he should do it. He only wants what's convenient and easy for him. You know, it's like dealing with a child, but it's a child that's a full-grown adult that you have no authority over. That's why you don't have new MGTOW content creators. You guys don't let anybody in because you're protecting it? No, because you're scared, because you're fighting, because you're worried, because of weakness. What is it? What do you care? What does it bother you if another man has an opinion? And maybe, oh my goodness, that opinion doesn't go along with your opinion? And that's going to make him a bad man. What if the opinion he has is the opinion and the vision that you need to save the future? Is your ego going to get in the way? Because that's what I see. I don't get to see compromise. I don't get to see any sort of a dialectic. All I get to see is attacks. I don't want anything to do with it. Right now, that doesn't save me from the attacks, from the slander, from the undercutting. It doesn't save me. But I will not respond in kind. See, this is the truth. It's not good men, bad man. You're a good man, they're a bad man. No, it's just men. And because some men are so desperate to be the good man, the one true Scotsman, he has to make all the other men bad men. It's disgusting. They need to get to know you so that they may know you and then approve of you. It's disgusting. It's unmanly. It's unmasculine. It's unworthy. Therefore, I will not be involved. Therefore, I will literally go my own way. How's that? Do you understand? And do you understand that people don't give a shit what somebody says? They care what people do. I say a lot of things, but I hope you can see over time what I consistently do. So the Democrats and the weak men step forward and say they're doing you a service. They're protecting the future and democracy, but they're not. They're stealing. They're making it impossible for anybody else to come here and to bring their ideas and to make a difference, as they themselves were allowed to do. Oh no, they're not going to allow that. Why? Because they're perfect? Why? Because they're really defending democracy? They're not. They're stealing. They're scared. Now they're going to be exposed. Trump is in office. He doesn't care. He doesn't need the money. I don't care either. I am perfectly used to a very, very hard life. One of the greatest things that you can do for yourself in life is learn to rejoice in your thankless work. Get it? Learn to rejoice in the work that you must do anyway. There's a samurai saying, if a man can merely learn to do what he doesn't want to do in life, he will be successful. So what I'm talking about here is a commitment to discipline. I'm talking about sacrificing convenience and pleasure in the moment for long-term fulfillment. It's this interplay between dopamine and serotonin. Okay, the dopamine is, what you feel right now when you're getting motivated, you're making progress, everything is good. Serotonin is, well, I'm going to be okay no matter how this thing turns out. So I'm really not that emotionally invested in it. So this is really just me testing out my microphone and confirming the fact that it sucks. I've been going on here for a while. I've got some other things I want to talk about. Essentially, what I want to talk about is why I am refusing to work with demons anymore. Now, it's going to happen, but as soon as I can see it and figure it out that the person I'm working with is literally possessed by a demon, be it fear, rage, addiction, envy, jealousy, whatever it is, okay, I'm not going to work with it. And I'll talk to you about it because I've got my reasons. It's like, oh, Howard, you're being unfair. Demons are people too. And they are. They surely are. Because what we're talking about is a person being possessed by this negative, destructive force. Okay, but that's another video. So let me know what you think about these subjects and topics. I wasn't planning on making this into a video. It really was supposed to just be a test of the microphone. And let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, comment, subscribe, donate. Man, do I need your support. I am one man alone out here trying to tell the truth against a very large system. I think you've got some insight as to what's going on. I know you're intelligent, so you can play it forward and figure out where it's going to go, where it's going to lead, where it already is. Help me make content for men. I would really appreciate it. Find my Cash App donation link. Click on it. Do what you can. And join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, men.